Good morning, cruel world. How are you guys doing? I guess that wasn't a good way to start this cruel world that we live in. Sorry, it's not really what I wanted to say, but I did anyway. And I think I'll take these off, maybe. I got them. They're kind of stuck in there with my bandana. I woke up last night. I went to bed early last night. I laid down, and of course, if I lay down and I got the lights off, I'm going to go to sleep, right? So I took a couple 3 hour nap. I don't know. And that's usually my sleep cycle. I mean, a real sleep cycle is 90 minutes, they say. But um, if I lay down for the night to go to sleep and I do it late, so that's probably going to be the key. Anyway, I'll get about 4 hours sleep, maybe five. But I laid down around 9 o'clock last night, so I'm not sure what time I got up. It might have been like 11:30 or something. All I know is I woke up with a headache. So the bandana is for the headache. Okay. I did not lay down with a bandana, but I sure heck put it on when I got up because I do not like a headache. And nobody does, I know. This morning, I just was looking at Dr. William Li. Excellent. Um, he's a scientist, a doctor, a researcher. He's somebody to look into, okay, about fighting cancer. Try to make that look okay. Anyway, so a couple, three things I just heard I think are real important. So I'm going to put it out there. He's saying that cancer, we all have it. We're all producing it. And if it doesn't have a blood supply of its very own, then it only gets to be about as big as a ballpoint pen tip, not big at all. But then once it attaches to blood vessels, it grows and grows and grows and grows crazy, okay? Um, so anyway, he's been researching and has, these are just three things that I just wrote down because they're important to me. And I figured they'd be important to you guys. And that is a way to stop blood vessels from growing to these cancers. Now, I can't repeat what he said very well. It'll all be paraphrasing, but it's like he said, your normal stuff in there has, it's like built on a foundation, a firm foundation type of thing. Whereas your blood vessels that are attaching to these cancers is shoddy work. That's how I'm going to put it. He didn't say that, but he did, meaning that they're not structured well. They're just a quick fix. It's kind of like finding contractors to do your house. You got this fly by night guy that's taking shortcuts everywhere, and then you got the guy that's doing a good job, okay, and he's following the rules and he's making sure it's firm and built right and it can last the storm, is what he's saying. So he says, like, when the hurricane comes through, of the things that will kill those blood vessels that are, I mean, I'm not saying that quite right, but it is true. Shatters. He says they can't withstand the hurricane. But anyway, here are some things, and these are just three things. There's a lot more, I think, because I just stopped the video halfway. I figured I would share. So, green tea. Green tea. I'll be drinking me a bunch of green tea from now on. I think he said somebody he knew, maybe it was his grandfather, lived to be 104. And he said he drank at least 6 cups of green tea a day. Plus he walked, did a lot of walking up hills and stuff, because he lived in the mountains. So that's what I got from that. But anyway, green tea. He said he put green tea, like he was testing. And he put a drop of green tea in with some stuff, and he said it was amazing. And he said if that was a chemical drug that they were researching, that the lab people would have just been jumping up and down with excitement with what it did. Okay, so green tea will help get rid of those blood vessels that are attaching to cancer. So I'm going to be drinking me a bunch of that, because he says once you get rid of their blood supply, then can't live, okay? I think. All right, so second, red wine. Okay. Well, that's a good reason to drink a glass of wine, isn't it? So I think I might be trying that. I don't know, not while I'm at dad's probably, but red wine. So I'll have to find out what a good red wine is and then just have a glass a day. Or, even a small amount. He didn't give the dosing on that. And then he said soy. Soy, that which they tell us is bad for us, is good for us. I mean, there are other things in soy. So I wrote this down. So for now, I don't have my glasses on. It says, will wipe out blood vessels that feed cancer. So, I mean, those three things right there. Green tea, that should be easy enough to do. And so you don't want to just gobble it down all at once. I would think you would do intermittently, like vitamins, like vitamin C. Did you realize vitamin C, you pee it out? So it only lasts with you a little while. We'll say, I'm going to say maybe 2 hours. It's just a story that I found out from a hygienist years ago when I had a major problem in my mouth. And she told me that I could take up to 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day, but to spread it out because you pee it out and then it's no good anymore, right? It's gone. So that's just something to remember. And I do think vitamin C fights cancer too. Okay, maybe not in a major way, but vitamin C, what she said, it builds tissue. Okay, so if you need to repair and build tissue, then how better? So not just 1,000 vitamin C a day, but maybe 1,000 every 3 hours. However, I just put the 2-hour period out there for peeing it out. We'd have to research that. But I'm just saying, if I could have 10,000 milligrams a day, and how many hours a day are we up? Then spread it out. I know that's a major deal. I don't want to do that. Well, it's not going to do you any good if you take it all at once and you pee it out, and there you are the rest of the hours. So it's just a thought. Okay. So I thought I would do a short video for a change and just tell you what I just saw. Okay, because I've been listening to Dr. William Li. And I do think I'm going to find out about his book and buy it. He's got a book. And if you're watching his video, it's right there on the bookshelf. He's so smart. Put things on the bookshelf where you can see it, and he doesn't have to say anything about it. But Eat to Beat Disease, I think is the name of his book. But just look up Dr. William Li. And you know how things are. He's probably selling it on Amazon. You never know. I bet he is. So I got to try to learn how to do short videos because I think they are probably going to get more attention, but not always. For some reason, some of my long ones are getting some attention. I just don't know if they're all listening to the whole thing. And I will just tell you, you just never know what's going to come out of my mouth before an hour and a half is over. It's not always boring. And sometimes some great things pop out because you never know what's in this head of mine, or yours for that matter. So maybe I should stop there. If you guys have any input, I'll be glad to take it. The word of wisdom. Yes, you members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that word of wisdom. Remember, it is a word of wisdom. And when you find out that there are some things, it's like medicine, then it changes the dynamic, people. My medicine that I made out of marijuana is medicine. And it's medicine in a lot of different ways. And it kills cancer cells, people. So, I do like to get a buzz. And no, I don't have one right now because I just got up not long ago. And I don't smoke all the time, contrary to a lot of people. There was a time when I waked and baked, okay? I got up, I got high. I got high all day long because I like that feeling. the mind deal. But you shouldn't do that. I'm not advocating doing that, okay? Um, what you're doing there and what I was doing there was going to my happy place and forgetting about um, just being straight, being what God gave you. Well, that's a good thing too. Being high, that's usually, it's not always, but it is a form of medication. Someone who lives alone, who's single, who's unhappy, a lot of stress in their life and stuff, it can help a lot. It really can. So, it's like everything. Everything, the word of wisdom is a, what does it say? How do they put it? Moderation in all things is really what the word of wisdom is, okay? So now, another thing they're saying that'll fight cancer is coffee. And they're using these weird names. Polyphenols are in there or something. I'm not sure if it's in the coffee, okay? But in all these different things that they're talking about fighting cancer, there's, what is it? I want to say, I'm probably going to be wrong, but tomatoes, lycopene. Is that what it's in tomatoes? Anyway, tomatoes will fight cancer. But they are saying that to get the better benefit, then you want to saute it. You want to heat it up a little bit. Or even a lot bit. They were saying for men with prostate cancer, 1 tomato a day. No, they didn't even, I don't even think it was that. Maybe a couple, 3 tomatoes a week. I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen again. But the point is, you get more benefit from the tomato if you heat it up for fighting cancer, okay? And he was specifically talking about men with prostate cancer. So, you men with prostate cancer, or even without it, worried about getting it, start eating a lot of tomato sauce. And maybe tomato sauce that you make, not what's in the can. Now, that's just what I just put out there, because everything that's processed and put in a can, if they're putting any type of preservatives in it, then you're not really wanting that, probably, So anyway, like I said, it was going to be short, so I'm going to have to stop. Here's my morning advice, and I am repeating it from somebody else. It is not mine, okay? Pete and repeat. I used to make fun of, well, my husband, Joe. He's Pete and repeat. And it's not just him. I did the same thing because I want to make sure you heard what I said. And if you didn't make a response, or maybe it didn't penetrate your head, I'm going, okay, I'll say it again. So maybe you might want to make a comment so they shut up. It's just a thought. I believe, yes it is, today is Tuesday. And I don't think I did an update. I might have. I don't know. I went to the doctor, my surgeon, yesterday. God has been with me in a lot of ways. Like when I finally decided to go in and see the oncologist and everything, well, they had an opening. That's rare. They had an opening, got me in right away. And then after I saw the oncologist, then there's the infusion treatments. Well, they got me into that right away. Amazing. And so then I called my surgeon and I said, because he was waiting to do this surgery. This is the second part of my reconstructive surgery, to find out if I'm going to have radiation, because he figured if I had to have radiation, then he'd have to go in there and take out some of the liquid. He's been stretching my skin so that he could do this surgery. So I've got this hard implant in my chest. And it's been quite a while. It's been plenty long time to stretch skin. So anyway, I think I called, it took me 2 weeks to get in to see him, but that's still fast. And then I saw him yesterday. So, guess what? Somebody canceled their surgery. Mary Lou gets to get right in there. So, guess what? A week from Thursday, I will be having surgery. Unless my insurance doesn't get it passed through in time. But he happened to have an opening, and he put me right in there. And then he said if that didn't work, if they didn't get the approval from the insurance right away, then he'll work me in. So I'm not waiting, because he's booked through the first part of July. So miracle upon miracle, I'm getting in, which I see and understand and hear that that's not easy to do, especially in populated cities, because there's so many people with problems that you're booked way out. All of these emergencies, and they can't even see you for 3 months. Oh my God, that's an emergency. I think I'd be moving to a smaller town where they need the people, because then they can get you in. Well, I'm not really in the necessarily smaller town. I'm in Kennewick, Washington. And I know from the beginning when I started trying to get appointments, we're talking 6 months ago or so, it was way down the line before you could get seen. So to me, these are miracles. I got right in, and got right in. And here I am going to have surgery in 9 days. And then what he told me, okay, so this is what I went there yesterday, and he said that it's going to be a lot easier surgery this time. He said it'll be like a little incision. You see, a little incision, maybe a little bigger than that, I'm not sure, but an incision, and he'll go in and do that. He said he would take out this cancer. See, but I don't think he's talking about the other one. I told the nurse after he was gone, I was thinking, because he had said, that wasn't his expertise to read that. And I don't know if he read that or if he read what they sent, the people who did do the reading. But it sounded like I had a 2-inch, I'm going to say mass. I don't really know what a mass is, except for, something that's solid or anyway, that's what I'm picturing, a 2-inch by 2-inch solid mass in between my lungs. But the oncologist said, no, that's not it. What it is you have some lymph nodes there under the breast where the cancer goes. Okay, so that makes perfect sense. I didn't realize that. So the lymph nodes catch the cancer as it goes out before spreading everywhere else. So I have one cancerous lymph node underneath my arm, usually where the scar tissue is, where they did that first surgery, and then probably the second surgery, I don't know. But anyway, he said that he would get in, when he gets in there, he'll take that out. Okay, so the one under my armpit. But I mentioned to the nurse about the other ones, so maybe she's going to mention it to him, and then that might mean a little bit more than a little incision. I mean, it'd be lovely if he could go in and take those out too. But then again, maybe I can use some of this stuff, because they're saying it's amazing that the food can do just as good as the pills or the chemicals and stuff. So the food will help feed us, naturally kill off the cancer blood vessels. In this particular case, these 3 items I told you about are about that. So you starve the cancer by getting rid of the blood vessels that it's attached to. Well, see, they're not usually attached, and that brings me to something else. And I know she's, learned my lessons by not being able to afford things. But she told me, my naturopath told me, and this was, a year and a half ago. What did she tell me? Lots of things she told me, but I lose myself so bad. Oh, she had a product. She had a product that if I took it would make the cancer cells slippery, like they couldn't attach to anything. Now, she didn't say anything about attaching to blood vessels, but they couldn't stop and attach, which means they go on through and out or something. So that was, that particular product, I think, was $100 a month. And I couldn't afford it and didn't do it. But maybe that's something I should try to do. And you guys too. I just don't remember the name of it. If I go, I've got my, I had a little over a 2-hour session with her on like a Skype, which I recorded. I recorded the sound, so we didn't see anything. So I need to go back over that, because she gave me a cancer treatment list on there, told me things I needed to do. And I started out doing good, but then I didn't buy the stuff from... See, she had sold her practice. She was still taking clients, but only a few. And I was lucky then, too, that I was able to get into her. And she was in Washington, I was in Colorado, so our appointment was done by Skype. I think it was Skype, something similar to that. Anyway, we had to keep going back in and keep going back in because it would die after 20 minutes, I think. That isn't important. But the point is, her name is Cynthia Bai, and she's retired. But she sold her practice, which is in Vancouver, Washington, to another naturopath. And all of her products that she sold to her clients, she sold to the people who took over for her. So, if I go back into my stuff, I might can find that. That's in Vancouver. But there is a product, I just don't know what it is. But you could describe it to them. You know, look for a naturopath in Vancouver and check them all. But there was a certain product that would make cancer not stick to anything. And I think it would be worth having. Very much worth having. Because once it sticks, you know, and then it starts, if it sticks and it's growing blood vessels, I would think. Okay, my short video is not going to be short. Happy trails. I love you people. Really, because we're all brothers and sisters. You know, we might not like our brothers and sisters sometimes. I mean, our true physical, biological brothers and sisters, sometimes we just would like to slap around. But we also love them. So, at least you have the ability to not be so close that you're mean. But some of you guys are mean anyway. Quit it. Quit being mean people. Be happy people. Be loving people. Be nice. Because that's going to be your saving grace. The 2 commandments of the Lord these days, there's not 10 anymore. That stopped when Jesus came. He said, number 1, love the Lord thy God with all thy mind, might, and strength. And yes, I'm sure there's more to that, a little bit more wordy. And then the second one is love thy neighbor as thyself. I mean, so everything hinges on those 2 commandments. So, love the Lord, love yourself, and love your neighbor. And so you would not do anything bad to someone you love on purpose. Because, yeah, we do bad things sometimes totally by accident. And sometimes we're innocent as to a situation. You'll be in a situation and all of a sudden all hell's breaking loose and you had nothing to do with it. Or maybe you just said something wrong and everybody went willy-nilly out to lunch getting pissed off. And there you are wondering, what the heck is going on? Anyway, I had that happen to me. So I know that it happens. And yes, I'm innocent. Sometimes I'm not. And sometimes I don't have a filter very good. I have a hard time. If there's something in my mind and it's trying to come out of my mouth, it's going to come out of my mouth. I can't stop it. I mean, really, I've tried. I've tried to stop myself, and I stopped me for just a little bit, but then it's still coming out. So, anyway, just pay attention. Maybe you might learn something. I don't try to be mean on purpose, but sometimes I guess that's how I come across. Especially people who don't know you, and you guys don't know me. If you go through all of my videos, which would be a great undertaking, that's a lot of hours. A lot of hours, because I got a lot of videos that are over an hour. And I'm almost at 500 videos. It won't be long before I hit 500, I'm sure. I know I passed 480. Anyway, people, so let's all have a glass of red wine together, huh? We'll have to set a time when it's the wine drinking hour and say, hey, cheers. I want a good wine. So I need to find out which one is a good one. But he said red wine. Okay. And then I don't know much about soy products. So we'll have to find out about that. The main thing is, you need to look at, they're telling you to stay away from processed foods. Okay. Anything artificial is not good to be putting in your body. Artificial sweeteners, people, stay away from them. Stay away from real sugar. But there are other products that are sweeteners that are natural. One being honey. I mean, I think honey is one of those food of the gods. It's for our use. You vegetarians, I don't know a lot about that, but I know a family member who is doing it. I don't know what they're doing these days, but I realize that a vegetarian, I don't know if that's what you call a vegan, doesn't want to mess with animals. And anyone that has a face, okay? But they're neglecting the part where honey is not part of that animal. It is what the animal does. And it's not an animal, it's an insect. But the point is, even though it's got a face, it's out doing a really hard job. It's pollinating, it's collecting, it's coming here and it's making honey. And that's for us. That is not killing the animal. That is using what the animal does, or the insect, as the case is. It's for our use, and it's for our good. Like the nuts of the trees and the fruit of the trees and the fruit of the vine, whatever. We want to get back to natural foods, and we want to get away from canned goods. I mean, I sure hope canned goods have, and like the ones we do, if we can our own food, then we know what's in there, right? You put good stuff in there, and then you close it up so that other things can't get in there. And I guess you do process it as far as heating it so that the jars close and stuff. In a lot of processed foods, though, they're putting chemicals. I mean, I don't know if I should say chemicals. They're putting preservatives. So it's best to eat natural if you can. And seasonal. Yes, there's seasons. So then they're even saying, yes, like the dried fruits and stuff, that'd be good. So we need to figure out how to grow food and then process our own food so that we have food to eat when it's not seasonal. But the best effort is to stay away from processed foods. And then there is a bunch. I'm going to get his book. I am. I'm going to endorse this man because I've listened to a bunch of his stuff. And, of course, I like what he's saying, too. That helps. And it really helps to know that food can do the same thing as these damn drugs. Yeah, there I go, saying a bad word. I asked somebody at church if they'd listened to my channel yet. No. I says, don't be afraid. She said something about bad words. Well, yes, I have said some bad words, but it's not like I do it all the time. Some of my videos are not blessed with bad words or cursed, however you want to look at it. And my bad words are not near as bad as they could be because I have had a mind full of bad words. I can remember. I am not innocent in that way. Bad words coming out of my mouth. And in a sentence, there might have been 1 or 2 or 3 good words, and they were the, is, at. I'm just giving an example. The point is, my vocabulary was all bad, swear words. I could call you lots of names in the book, and maybe names that weren't in the book, because I invent words too. But the point is, there's a lot of great stuff in my stuff, even for members of the church. And the point is, you members of the church want your family to come into the church, but yet you're being all judgmental about a lot of things, and you shouldn't do that. That's not your place. Our place is to invite them into the church. Invite them in to partake of the Spirit, and then let God take over. You don't got to do it. I mean, you can be there for support and you can answer questions, but don't be getting all judgmental because you're just going to shove them away. You're not going to bring them in, you're going to push them away. Same with your children. I know a lot of the members of the church are having problems with their family, whether it be their brothers and sisters making fun of them or their children being belligerent because of their staunch rules. Just remember the rules. Love. Love thy neighbor as thyself, and by God, that includes your brother, your sister, your children, not just the stranger out there on the street. So let's love, especially close to us, let's love our family. And love sometimes is being, what would be the word? I mean, you don't got to approve of what people do, but you also don't got to sit there in judgment, okay? Try to find a common ground. And, and yes, you can't lift people up if you are so busy judging. And yes, you don't need to bring yourself down, but invite them in. Then you've got the whole church behind you, and the Spirit of God is there. I feel the Spirit when I'm there. And like I said, I'm not holier than thou, and neither are you, okay? We need to remember. Don't be so busy cleaning up someone else's backyard and leave yours a mess. Clean up your own backyard and try to share happiness. And those are my words of advice for today. Or so far, because really it's early. I haven't even started yet. I just thought I would get on here and share the important things that I just heard from Dr. William Li. And I'm pretty sure I'm saying the book right, is Eat to Beat Disease. Okay? I'm excited about finding these things out. See, I've got to go see my oncologist next week, I think, because I'm having my second infusion next week, a week from yesterday. And I haven't decided on that second pill. I still might do it for a couple of months. I'm not sure. Because with my cancer and with the situation it's in my bones. And she says, we can melt that cancer away. But then I'll have holes in my bones and my bones will collapse. So we can't have that. So in the meantime, I'm taking a hormone blocker. And then I'm also doing, these infusions are about building up my bones. So I have to take calcium and vitamin D3 every day. I need 1,200 units of calcium or milligrams, and then 1,000 units. It says at least 800, but I see that 1,000 units is readily available. So that's pretty good. So I have to have that in my system, or this infusion, whatever it is, will not work. Because what it does is it uses the calcium and the vitamin D to help build up my bones. So there's great things going on out there. We just need to know about it. So get on YouTube and look up Dr. William Li and tell him Mary Lou sent you. He doesn't know who I am, but I know who he is. So cool beans. And my sister Teresa D is the one who turned me on to him. So thank you, Teresa D. I love you. Teresa, okay, I asked you guys to pray for her yesterday. And I got the word that she was back home last night. They're trying to find out what's wrong. They did a bunch of tests. And I think Dad said it wasn't losing blood. I mean, I think they found out that much. But there's something wrong. That she was passing out. She passed out several times during the night, and then they took her to the hospital and did a bunch of tests, is all I know. And she was unconscious, was what I had heard at the hospital. But I heard she was back home last night and feeling like normal. So we do need to be careful about that feeling like normal, because that doesn't mean you're normal, does it? Just like the cancer. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your fellow man, especially your children and your parents and your siblings. and your husband or your wife. Now, husband or wife is number one. Number one. But if they're an ass, just get away from them. See, there goes my bad mouth again, but that's not bad. And tell me, how many of you members of the church have not heard swear words before? You cut your nose off to spite your face if you stay away from my stuff because you're afraid of a few swear words. And seriously, that's all a matter of opinion, what a swear word is, or a bad word is. Oh my God. Dag nabbit. I said dag nabbit, and my dad had a fit the other day. Give me a break. They want you to have perfect language, and he's probably the one who started me out with that. I got a phone call coming in from Homestead, Florida. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm not answering it. They can leave me a message, and then I'll find out. You guys ought to do that. When calling people, if you really want to get through to them, you might want to leave a message, because sometimes they just don't answer the phone, and I'm one of them. I don't have the same phone number I used to have, so I don't have all of that crap coming in, So normally I could probably expect my phone calls to be okay, but sometimes they're not. They're still sales calls. Plus, I do have property out there for sale, so I should answer the phone. Happy trails, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. I know a lot of people are stuck at a job, but be grateful for that job and enjoy it, because it'll put food on the table and pay your bills, right? Unless you got bad habits that you're feeding. Speaking of, yeah. So I don't. I was talking about that, how I used to be with marijuana, but I'm not like that anymore. 2 or 3 times a day, usually later in the day. Just depends on what's going on, okay? Or if I have to go out into the world, because I try not to be stoned to drive. I don't want to be distracted. A friend of mine just lost 3 members of her family in a car accident where a drunk driver hit them. They were on their way to work in the same vehicle, and this drunk driver hit them. All 3 of them died, and then the drunk driver died too at the hospital. But drunk people, if you can, please quit drinking. Drinking is not good. It's not good in so many ways, and look what this guy did. He took 3 valuable people out. Maybe he wasn't valuable, or maybe he was, because we're all valuable. So, in this sense of marijuana, it ain't going to make you go out and kill somebody, people. Not everybody's smart about it, but marijuana is a peace drug. It gives you peace. It might make you creative. It might make you talk a lot. Depends on the strain that you're smoking. Depends on how much you abuse it, because the more you smoke, the less you get high, people. I learned that. Those days when I got up and started immediately, and then every time the buzz was about gone, I'm in there making it another buzz, because that's where I wanted to be. Okay, well, after a while, you don't get high anymore. You don't. I smoked and smoked and smoked. I went in for a visit. I visited with some people. I don't know why, because I didn't know them. And they were sharing their pot with me. And we smoked and smoked and smoked, and I never got high. And they're going, how come you're not getting high? They're not understanding. I'm not understanding either. Must not have been any good. Or maybe it was just cause I was too inundated with the black resin. Maybe I was just covered in it. I don't know. I'm just saying, don't abuse it. Use it sparingly. Try being straight. How do you know when you got a buzz if you don't know what it's like to be straight? Pretty soon being straight will be your buzz. But natural. I mean, this wonderful body that God gave us, and this mind that's in our head, Getting messages, not understanding. Anyway, so we're at 40 minutes. All right, all right. A glass of red wine a day. Lots and lots of great vegetables, okay? Like the mushrooms and the onions and the tomatoes, but lots more. Avocado is really good for you people, and it'll help you lose weight too. And then, I don't know what he means by soy. They were showing soy, looked like little beans of some, reminded me of garbanzo beans or something. But the point is, these things will help get rid of the blood vessels that are attached to these cancers. So like the house built on the foundation, and the shoddy carpenter, or not, well, carpenter too, but the contractor that's building your house, if he does it right, it'll be strong, it'll last, right? So your body, he's correlating it to your body. Your body has blood vessels, I mean, I can't remember how much he said, but a lot of miles of blood vessels in your body, feeding all the cells to your body, the nutrients and oxygen and all that stuff. So that's another thing to think about. Give your body some oxygen. Give it a break. If you're smoking, and I can tell you this myself, a long time ago when I was, 30 years ago, when I was trying to quit smoking, well, before I was trying to quit smoking, I had a fire in my throat all the time. Cigarette, I timed it because I was trying to quit. I was lighting up a cigarette every 15 minutes, okay? And it took me 7 minutes to smoke the cigarette. So that's 8 minutes left. In which time, if I had pot, I was smoking pot. So I'm just trying to give you a little overview, okay? You need oxygen. Where are you going to have oxygen? You're not even giving yourself the oxygen you need because you're so busy carrying on with all this smoke. Cigarettes are so full of carcinogens. They spray crap on it, chemicals to make you addicted. So there you are. You got this. You're burning it. You light it up and you're sucking it into your body, into your lungs and stuff, and then it's feeding. It's going out through your whole body and your brain, everywhere your blood vessels go. It's getting all this poison and no oxygen. All right, so 7 minutes out of the 15, I'm smoking a cigarette. And you smoke a cigarette, you got a big old, you blow it out and it takes up the whole room. Your smoke fills the whole room, okay? You look at somebody smoking and every time they exhale. No, you can't be in the same house or the same room with me. I can't stand cigarettes. But I did smoke them forever. And it was, the only way that I quit smoking was because I was going to die if I didn't. But not even just that. I could not take a breath. I tried to smoke. The last day that I smoked was on Christmas Day, 29 years ago. And I think I tried because I had no air in my lungs. When I finally saw my x-ray, there was only this little teeny bit of air out of all my chest x-rays. I mean, this big old chest x-ray, 2 sides. One side was totally white. The other side was totally white until you got to the bottom. And then there was this much black, just a little black. Well, that black was where I had air. I had no more air than that. And I could not even suck on a cigarette. I'm not kidding. I tried twice to take a puff out of a cigarette and it didn't work, okay? So that's pretty bad. Pretty bad. So stop that. If you guys are doing that, quit smoking cigarettes. It's full of poison. It's full of crap. And nothing like lighting a fire to it and just filling up your whole body, your whole being with these poisons. Our body is pretty strong to be able to outlast that. But don't hurt yourselves, guys. Don't do it on purpose. You know, if you're going to smoke, smoke pot. And then if you're going to smoke pot, you do it a little bit at a time. You don't sit there and act like it's a damn cigarette. You know, I knew people, there's my mouth again, but I knew people that smoked Well, they grew marijuana. This is years ago. I mean, Jessica was a little thing when I knew these people. She was like in the first, second, or third grade. And they were quitting smoking cigarettes. But then they replaced it with smoking pot. That's not a good thing. Not if you're smoking joints. Because it was a habit, is why. They had a habit of smoking. So instead they smoked pot. I wouldn't say that's a good thing to do. When you smoke pot, you ought to just do it, like I said, conservatively. And really, right now, see, I'm living in Dad's house, so I don't have my equipment. But at home, and even at home, I still didn't do it very well. You need to use a bong. You need to use something to cool it off. You know, when you use a bong, you're sucking it down into the water. And the water is going to cool it off before it hits your lungs, before it comes in here. So there are ways to do it safer. But still, I can remember sucking on that pipe and getting as much as I can, holding it in, until I almost pass out. That's not the way to do things. Don't do that. You really, if you have good pot and you don't abuse it, you just use it sparingly, 2 or 3 times a day or whatever. And remember, your first high of the day is the best. So if you wait until the end of the day to have your first high of the day, you can have a really nice buzz. And you won't have to be trying to work at the same time. You know, like wake and bake and then go to a job. But I understand because I have been there. I'm just saying, people, think about it. You want to live a long time? Do what you can to help prevent this disease. So yeah, I would recommend his book, even though I haven't read it. I've just listened to him a bunch, and so I can tell that his stuff is in his book. So for a reference guide and things like that, I think that would be a good book to read. Eat to Beat Disease by Dr. William Li. And I think the Li is spelled, it might be spelled L-I. I'm not sure. Okay. So have a great day. It's been 47 minutes on my short video. I can't help myself. I have diarrhea of the mouth. But at least hopefully I have something good to say. Something that might help you on your way to a long and healthy life. You know, between Big Pharma, they got great things that are good, except for they're crazy on the prices. And really, Big Pharma might not necessarily be the one that's charging all that money. It might be all the doctors and the pharmacies, you know, private business who wants money. Because I know my granddaughter worked for Walgreens. She don't now. But she saw what they paid, and then she saw what they charged. And it was crazy. Astronomically crazy. So, buying food that's good for you on the shelf, and make sure, watch out and make sure, yes, it costs more for organic, but we need to do organic. So we need to grow our own. When you grow your own, you know what's in it. Except for what might be a residual effect of the dirt that's down there. So you need to clean that up, I guess. You can put additives into the soil, things that are good for you. And good for the soil too. And actually, back to pot. Plant some pot. That'll clean up the soil. It is a wonderful, wonderful product that God gave us, people. And other idiots in charge that were trying to do harm made it illegal. And boy, did they ever do harm. From what I understand, they were trying to keep the Mexicans out. They wanted an easy way to deport them because they had marijuana. Well, we all love our marijuana. And so you messed up. I wanted to say a different word. And you guys know the word, the ones who use those words. Yeah. Screwed up. Just change the word to something else because it fits. I would like to go have the whip. I would like to be the one to inflict pain on that ass who did all this to us. And I'm not kidding at all. And you don't think someone is going to give him his just dues. He's probably in that. Myself, I'd put him in that bottomless pit just for what he's done to the rest of us. Years and years and years of tearing families apart over crap, over the peace drug. Oh, give me a break. That evil person over there, let's go throw them in jail because they smoke marijuana. Oh my God, what's wrong with you people? And you're still doing it today. Massive, massive money is being made off this drug that God gave us that we can grow ourselves. And then massive money is being made, not just by the ones who've got it legal now and selling it, but the justice system, which is not justice, if you ask me. Yeah, let's go tear a family apart. Throw those kids in foster care. And usually those foster care homes are not what you think. It's a way to make a little money or maybe have some child labor, but not for the good benefit of the child. That which you do thinking you're doing good is not. So then you've got the children in foster care who will eventually need counseling. They'll need counseling right away because you're taking their parents away. What the hell? And then you've got probation officers. You've got juvenile delinquents. You've got, the juvenile delinquents turn into you have to have probation officers, and you have to have counselors, and you have to have the court system, and you have to have lawyers to fight for your case and lawyers to fight against your case. There's just massive job security to do with this marijuana law. Give me a break. Why don't you guys turn into nice people? Let it be. And then help the people instead of throw them into evil places. You think throwing somebody into jail, tearing their family apart, is going to be good for them? No. You guys think about what you're doing to the rest of the world. These drug wars, first that came in America because you guys, you're innocent victims pretty much, except for the ones who caused this whole trouble. It's like these people with these protests, and they're going around destroying property and making it hard for everybody to live, okay? They've been getting away with it. Now, I saw that they actually arrested people the other day. Wow. But, I remember way back when, the war on the hippies. Give me a break. You got peace-loving children. They're children then. They got their beads in their hair, and some people said, oh, they're dirty because they don't have bathtubs. And, they're just living off the land or whatever. Communes were going on. But I'm just saying that on a college campus with peace-loving children, the government went in there and killed them. Okay, they weren't causing any trouble. They weren't destroying property. They weren't doing all kinds of things that happen these days, and they get away with it. You guys remember? Go back and look and see. They were gunned down because they had the gall to protest and say what they thought about that Vietnam War. Send our children over there. I met somebody who was over there that has 10% of his stomach left because of what our government did. Chemicals that he was exposed to. Things that they had him, I think, even take. Take. Not just the Agent Orange they were spraying all over the foliage out there. People. No. There's a lot of bad things out there. And I just want you to think. God wants us to love each other. And one of the big things was, the big sin, murder. Don't be killing. Well, how do you go to war without killing? And maiming and destroying lives. And who benefits? There are people that want a culling. C-U-L-L-I-N-G, I believe is how it's spelled. But that is when they kill animals off because the population is too much. There are people trying to kill us humans off because there's too many people. But there's not too many people. But I do think that things are not ran quite right. I've made my point known that when we are old and We're living only because of the medications that we're taking. And then our family's all gone, but yeah, we're in a nursing home sitting there. We're taking up space. Well, guess what? That person, that place is getting paid. They're getting paid for the space you take. They're getting paid for the medications that you take. They're getting paid for taking care of you at that place. And there you sit. You don't even know you're freaking there. And the only reason you're living is because of those pills they shove down your face every day. You tell me that's right. That's part of the population explosion. You know, you don't be killing our young people. You don't go send them off to war and let them get killed or maimed or they're trained to kill. So then they come back home and what is in their head? Excuse me, bad, stop. And not, you can't get over that. I don't, as much as you try, I don't think you can get over that. So what the hell? Our government is causing us hell. And when I say our government, I'm talking about everybody's government. All the leaders of the world are the ones who need to go to war. Go put them in a big old field and give them paintball guns and see how they do. And then actually they're just getting bruised and not killed, you know. They're not getting their legs blown off and their arms blown off or their head. And all the hate that you guys are creating, hate begets hate. And it does not give us love, does it? Okay, I've gotten carried away. And I have not gotten high, okay? Oh, she's just got a buzz. She's just talking her head off. Nonsensical. Believe me, it makes a lot of sense. If we want this world to be better, stop it. Stop being mean. Stop trying to rule everybody and every little damn thing they do. Please think about it. Because damn, you're creating monsters. And then we get to put up with, not just put up with, we get to interact with those monsters. Think about it. Okay, I need to end on a good note. I believe the things I've said. I'm sure you can tell. I'm not making anything up. And it is true. I don't know if one man was at the root of it, but I would say Satan was at the root of it because he's in everybody's ear. And he is a massive amount. It's not just him. It's Satan and his angels. Dark angels, mean, badass angels, okay? And they're up there in there telling you all kinds of, they're messing with your head. So if you give attention, like someone said to me, don't give your attention elsewhere. Well, sometimes it's really hard not to. So I have to do better. I have to endeavor. I have to be aware. And I have to fight off temptation because they do use temptation. And they use flattering words. I mean, I don't really know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but that old Satan, that Lucifer in your ear, what I'm trying to say is he's one person, and he's not a person, he's a spirit. But a third of the host of heaven went with him, and they are all here doing his bidding. I mean, they're all on the same, he's the leader, but they're all on the same, they have the same mission. Destroy your happiness. Destroy, period. Destroy, destroy, destroy. That is what they want to do. But before they want to kill you, they want to make you sin. They make you want to fall. So you think about that. 59 minutes. Okay. Choose the right. When a choice is laid before you, do what's right. But it's not always easy to understand what's right. And yes, sometimes we have choices and there's a whole lot of different paths we can go down. So then you need to make choices that way too, to try to take you where you want to go. That could be in your job. That could be in your spouse. And you know, that's a real important thing, your spouse. Very, very, very important. Don't be getting married just right away, especially when your young children don't know nothing about life. You know, you just all you know is you're in love and that guy makes you feel great and you just got to be with him and you got to have him and you're everything in your mind is like fantasy type thing and it's not reality. Life. But you can choose to make it better by your choices that you make, and especially of your mate, because you know, it's an idea in your head before you actually do it, and then once you've done it, you're tied. Okay, so you need to have the skills to be able to live together, work together, play together, and be able to work through things together. So you need to have similar goals, similar ways of thinking. And then, oh my, you know, usually within a year, a child has come. And that's a whole nother dimension to your love, okay? But then that child starts to grow. And then there's the discipline of the child, and the feeding of the child, and the fun of the child, and everything's about the child. And then there's another child, and then another child. So then you've got 3 or 4 children that you're dealing with. I mean, I love children, and especially the little ones. Once they get through the, what is it, the terrible 2s and the horrible 3s. What do they call the teenage years? Oh my God. About 14 when they think they're grown. Anyway, I've rambled on. I have to call it the ramblings of Blue. But I do try to help people, okay? Love your children. Love your mate first. Love your mate. And keep that bond strong. And show forth love, okay? It's not just a matter of just, oh, I love him. No, you gotta care. And what happens when you care? You try to take care of the other person. You want to see to their needs if you can. You can't always. But you know what I mean. You want to be nice. You want to be loving. You want to keep that courtship going. Very important. Because love will grow and love will die. Don't let it die. And love those children and make sure they know that they are loved. And yes, you have to discipline them, but you also at the same time make sure they know that you love them, that you haven't turned your back on them. Your children believe what you tell them. So make sure you tell them good things. And yes, kisses are nice. Or can be. Okay. Like the Beatles said, all you need is love. And like Mary Lou says, it's the same thing. All you need is love. Of course, it might not be all you need, but, you know, it's pretty good. Foundation, like Dr. Lee talked about, a good, solid foundation. Build your house on a rock. Build your life with your mate in a good place. And make sure you don't marry the wrong damn person. There I go. Oh my, said that bad word. Craziness. Just, I passed the 3:33 again. I'm at 1 hour and 3 minutes and 55 seconds. All right, so I was going to do the Beatles song for my closing. All you need is love, la 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 la. All you need is love, love. Love is all you need. Share it. Christ-like love is what I'm talking about, sharing, people, okay? You really should save that most sacred act for your mate, the one that you love dearly, the one that you want to be with for time and all eternity. You guys don't understand that, do you? There is a way to be with your mate for eternity, sealed together in the temple. our temples. That's what it's all about. Family. First we go and we get a gift from God, our endowment. And I can't say exactly what that is, except for I believe it is the gift that you can grow and become like God. It's a step in your progression. So we'll call that the gift of eternal life. I'm thinking. The gift of the possibility of eternal life, okay? So you go there and you get your endowment. You do that when you're an adult. I'm thinking 18 might be the age because we have a lot of missionaries that go out on missions at 18. And at that time, they do go to the temple and get their endowment if they haven't already. And I really don't think you can do that before 18. So then the next thing is, things that are done in the temple are all about sealing the family together forever. For eternity. Okay? Dad said it in church Sunday, that the first time I ever went to the temple, was in 1956. I was 2 years old. I don't even know if I was quite 2 years old, because it depends on what month he went. And it seems like they went in the wintertime. All I know is I was born in 54, and I was in the temple when I was 56. When it was 1956, being sealed to my mom and dad. Okay? So mom and dad got married civilly, like most people get married out there. And then they traveled across the United States from the East Coast in North Carolina all the way to Salt Lake City so that they could get sealed in the temple to each other forever. Okay? And so any children that were already alive, me and my brother were already alive, we were sealed to mom and dad. I'm sure there was a ceremony inside the temple. There were ordinances of some sort. Because there is a sealing power. And I read about it in the scriptures to you guys. What video, I don't know. I might say sealing power on the video. Maybe you could look sealing power on Lou's Touch and maybe it'd show up. So I think you can give some few key words and then always say on Lou's Touch. LOU''S touch. Okay? And there's a space between those two. It's LOU''S space TOUCH. You never know what'll pop up. Good stuff is in there. The Urim and Thummim. I read about that. Told you a lot about that. Told you about a dream I had about that. Wonderful things that you'll find in my videos, people. I'm not kidding. And the reason I say that is because they're for your good. They're for you to know about, if you care to endeavor. Because you will need to endeavor. I really don't think anybody's going to go through all my videos and listen to them all the way through. But if you did, you'd have a wealth of knowledge. And I'm not done. I've only just begun. But in the meantime, I guess I do need to get up and get going. I just want to start my day with you guys and let you know what I'd heard from Dr. William Ley. Eat to beat disease. So, green tea, I'm going to start doing that all day long. 6 cups a day. And then, if I can, I have the hardest time drinking a lot of stuff. And then we're going to have us a glass of red wine. I'm going to have to go out and find some good red wine that doesn't cost a lot. So I'll have to learn more about that. He did not suggest any certain brands or anything. He just said red wine. And then soy. Okay, so those 3 things is what I got on here to tell you about. And the rest was ramblings of Lou and hoping to help people to understand. Now, I want my videos to be with the members of the church because that will arm you with a way to understand your children and the other people out there. I'm not trying to bring you down, but I'm trying to open your eyes to a way to reach your family. And really, if there's any way possible that you could share me with your family, that would be a great missionary tool. You just don't know it. You have no idea what I'm doing on this channel. Worried about my bad words. Oh my. You guys have to get over that. Get past that. All you got to do is watch TV for a second or two and you're going to hear those words. So give me a break. I'm not trying to contaminate your ears. I am trying to enlighten you. Enlighten the world out there as to what our church is and what it has to offer. And then help you guys with a way to reach your people. I am a strange bird, but I'm not. I love I love Jesus Christ. I love the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I love you members of the church. And I understand from both sides of the street. And I have a lot of knowledge that you might not have. So you're doing yourself a disservice by not listening to me. Because you're worried about bad words. Please, people, get over it. We do live in this world, you know. And when people like me, and when people come into the church, you're going to have to open up. And you're going to have to know that they've been through hell. Some of them, I gave her my card. I didn't necessarily meet her. I was in the foyer at church, because I don't go to Relief Society now, because they're worried about what I might say. They don't like I mean, one person does, and she says, I like it when you're there, and all, you know, cool beans. But then I raised my hand to say something, and this woman said, and she was the teacher at that time, she says, I don't know if I should let you talk. Anyway, I understand, because I was saying something they did not want to hear. Because we all have family members that are older and not doing well. And I'm talking about when I did that video. I did a video that really caused a stir. A person has a right to die. Is what my video was about, okay? And so I had one lady comment, man, it's a good thing I had my best friend to stop me. You would have had me on suicide. I'm going, what? I would never, ever suggest suicide, okay? But what I am saying is, if you are living only because you're taking medication and you don't have family around, you don't really have a meaningful life, you might be in a freaking nursing home, well, you know, it's time to go off to medicine and die. Why are you prolonging that life when you got life waiting for you on the other side? Heaven is right next door. And we're all going back to that God who gave us life. So population explosion, think about it. Quit killing the babies. Quit killing our young people in war. Let the old people die. And I'm not saying kill them. I'm just saying if they want to go off their medicine, let them. And you people really don't think that when you're dead, you're dead. You're not. There's so many people think that's it. You're going to lay down on that ground and that's it. No more. Well, that's not true. Your body is there, but your spirit is not. And then one day, we'll have a resurrection day where our spirit will come back and take our body. And we will become semi-immortal. There will be no more pain and disease and, you know, the pain, the physical pain and disease. There won't be. And temptation, because Satan's going to be bound. And all his people. They're not people. They're spirits. They chose not to come and have a body. They chose to fight against God. That's a lot of people. Because 1/3 of the host of heaven. And the host of heaven comprises all the spirits that have ever been born on this earth. Told me my battery's about dead. I know I rambled enough. Point is, you guys beware. Beware that you have a spirit talking to you that might not be a good spirit, okay? You need to take control of yourself. You need to not put yourself at the mercy of everybody else by being so messed up on drugs. I'm not kidding you. And one big major drug is alcohol. I black out with alcohol. And blackout doesn't mean you pass out. It means you continue on, but you're just not there. You know that song by Pink Floyd, is anybody in there? Well, you're not. You're not. And I know from experience and what people told me. And I know, I just know. And it was not to do with pot. It was alcohol. Alcohol's bad. And you do put yourself at the mercy of everyone around you. And I started to say that. I don't know if I ever said that. I probably did. If I repeat myself, it's not good. I think I did say it. Okay. 3 innocent people were killed by a drunk driver just the other day. Their funeral is today in Perryton, Texas, where I used to live. I don't know who the drunk driver was, but I didn't ask his name. Could be that I knew him, who knows? You know, because Perryton's a small place. I think they might have had about 7,000 people. Anyway, we knew each other. When you live in a small place, you get to know a lot of people, especially when you're in the public eye. Like Dad and my Uncle Dale and my mom had a propane company in Perryton, Texas, and I was the secretary. So I got to know a lot of people just from that experience. And then I sold Avon because I had to have some way to make a living after the propane company sold. And so I started selling Avon, and I did that for 7 years. So I had people who knew me from the propane company, and because I dealt with a lot of farmers and different people that came in for propane. Plus I filled up propane bottles, and bottles could be anywhere from a 20-pound cylinder to a 500-gallon bottle. But I'm calling it a bottle. It's a tank. And maybe those oil units that came in, there would be 2 250-gallon tanks on the back of their unit that I would fill. And you can't fill them all the way. You fill them to 80%. That's it, because they have to have room for expansion. And it's not just room for expansion because people didn't realize that you're using the fumes. You don't want to be using liquid. And if you got it totally full, then you got liquid coming out. Explosive, people. Don't do that. There are rules in place for a reason. Anyway, that's another tangent. So, all you need is love. If we all love each other, we'll be doing good. But then what would happen if we all just said, "To hell with your war"? What would happen if we all the different countries, said, "Fuck you"? See, there went my words. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It just comes out. Screw you. Whatever. I'm not giving my life. I'm not going to lay down and die for you. I'm not going to have my leg blown off for you. Go do it yourself. That's the way I think it should be. But that would have to be everybody, not just America, but all the different countries. Just let these leaders go out and fight their own damn war. I've already swore, so why not add another word, right? I've never claimed to be innocent. In fact, I'm not innocent. But I do love God. I do believe in God. Higher power, whatever you want to call it. And he is not a spirit. He was a spirit before he was born 2,000 years ago. But he came and got his body. And then he was resurrected, which means he still has his body, but in a perfect form. The exemplar, the person we need to emulate, Jesus Christ. And that is love. And he's not so worried about your words, okay? He's worried about you hurting somebody, and maybe hurting somebody with your words, but maybe not the particular words you're saying. Don't use the Lord's name in vain. That's what he's saying. So don't say, I'm going to say it, but don't say, God damn it. Don't say, Jesus Christ, when you're not praying to him. That's what he's saying, man. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. And don't be calling me. Don't call my attention to you when you're not talking to me. I have other things to do. You know, when you want to talk to the Lord, prayer, you begin with our Heavenly Father, or my Heavenly Father if you're doing a personal prayer. My Father in heaven, my Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. I mean, I come up with that these days because truly, he is our Father, and we have a mother there, and they love us, and they're giving us this opportunity, and they're there if we need them, but we got to ask. You know, sometimes we're blessed anyway without asking, because we are known, because we grew up before we ever came to this earth. We lived with our mother and father in heaven, and our brothers and sisters in heaven. We learned, we grew, we did things. And then we came here without our memory to be tested. What will you do? What will you do with this life that you have? But it's still all about growing and trying to become like our Father and Mother in heaven. So we need to put our attention onto him, onto Jesus Christ, and try to live like him. Try to live like the example Jesus gave. And you kind of have to know about Jesus in order to do that, don't you? And you can't really rely on all the movies that are put out because you don't know how much truth is in them. I mean, sometimes they're just not right. But there's some really wonderful, wonderful depictions. Is that what they call it? Learn about Jesus. Read the scriptures. Come Follow Me is what they have going on the BYU channel. They have a Sunday school class. I mean, we have manuals that we have Sunday school class. And Come Follow Me and Come Follow Up are that. And it's on BYU. So you don't have to go to church to get it. You can watch it on BYU channel. The BYU channel is free for everyone to partake of. And the app is what I'm talking about. With the app, you can pick and choose, just like on Netflix. You know, you can stop it and it'll pause right where you're at. You can come back to it another time and you'll be right where you left off. No commercials. And I can't say there's no commercials because BYU probably does. BYU channel probably does have commercials because they let you know about different things that's coming up that they're showing. They show movies. They have excellent, heartfelt, family type movies. I mean, so if you want some good entertainment and you don't want bad words, go to the BYU channel. They have great shows. There's Ruby and the Well. I like that one. She's a teenager, and she's keeper of the well, and the well grants wishes, and so they're granted through her. It's really pretty cool. And I haven't seen some of the other ones. There's one, something about a spark. That's a new one, and it looked really interesting. So anyway, there's some stuff on there about magic I saw. That spark is one of them. I'm not sure if there's another one. What is it called? Theodosia? Something like that. She's got a special power too. And a talisman. And I haven't seen those. I'm going to have to endeavor to do that. But I'm not endeavor. I have a hard time keeping track. I'm sure. I know I have attention deficit disorder, which no one ever labeled me with. But it's pretty obvious. I scatter all over the place. Let's see, I forget why I even said that, but nevertheless, that's what it was I was saying endeavor to watch these shows. Well, the endeavoring is to stay attention, to have my attention stay there without me getting up and moving to go do something else. However, things that are really interesting will capture me. So I think that I did. I have watched Ruby and the Well a lot, but I haven't seen all of their episodes. But nevertheless, the day is keeping on, and it's almost an hour and a half. I need to go and um, have my first cup of green tea. I'm going to do that. Oh, and as far as the tea goes, it doesn't have to be hot. Tea can be any, I mean, it can be iced, and it still has the properties. And so he also said, now this, he was talking about green tea today, okay, with getting rid of the blood vessels that are attached to cancer, because they're like a shoddy contractor that didn't build very good. So you put the right things in there and it'll wash it away without getting rid of the blood vessels that are with our organs, the ones that were built with a good contractor, okay? So it's like building your foundation on a rock or building it on the sand. When the water hits the sand, what happens? It dissipates and then your foundation is gone. Got it? Yes, I got it. Okay, so I've got things I need to do, and I need to make a list to do that. Just, I have all these intentions for what I'm going to do the next day, but after I've slept through the night, then, if I don't have that list and make it a habit to do that, then I'm off in la la land just doing anything. My main thing is I need to eat. I need to eat right. And so do you guys. And one thing in my favor is I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I smoked for over 22 years. And thank God, I guess, that I had pneumonia so bad I almost died, because I never would have quit smoking. It's such a hard habit. The more I wanted to quit, the more I wanted to smoke, because there's more than one of me in here, okay? When you got a bad habit, and you got one that's wanting to quit that habit, and there's the other one saying, I'm not quitting. Are you crazy? There's a battle going on. Anyway, I'm sweating to death. If I wait long enough, I'll hit 333. Oh, I should show you my oil, just as a little added tidbit. I tried to tell you guys I have some special, wonderful stuff. And yes, I need to use it all myself, but I have extra. And I'm in Kennewick, Washington, and I could use some money. So I've got something wonderful that I went through a lot to make, and expense, not just time and effort, but expense to make it. I'm going to show my stuff. My dresser's all messy. But, this oil does not get you high, guys. It's not about getting high. It is about the medicine that you can get from you extract it from the marijuana plant, so you don't get to smoke it. You don't get to get high. No. Anyway, I'll show you this jar. Okay, see that black liquid? See the syringe that's in it? Let's see, I'll try to show you over here. So I got a little teeny bit in there. Can you see it? Right now you can see that it's dripping. Well, I put those drips on my veins, but I also draw a little bit of that oil up in the syringe and put it under my tongue. And I do know that marijuana does dry you out, so that's one thing that's not good. Sometimes you'll see I've got these wrinkles and really looking dry, and I think it might be because of that. But I know that it kills cancer cells. So sometimes we have to do things we don't like, like causing wrinkles, or like going through chemo. I'm totally against chemo. But then again, it does its job. I just hope it does it for a long time. And hopefully they know what they're doing and they're doing it right. But as through time, like radiation, when they were doing these scans, I'm going, okay, how harmful is this? And and she said, we use about 20% of what they used to use for radiation. And then I've talked to you guys about low dose chemotherapy. That's a better way to go. And I don't know why they don't do that. They should be doing that. You know, you can do that at alternative centers, but not at the hospital. They don't know nothing about it. I did have one doctor wanted to know about it, but most of them don't want to know. They're too busy just doing what they already know. They don't care. And it's not their body. They're doing it too. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, my battery's going to go away. And I need to turn on the fan. Just while you're here, let's see. I have all these different sizes of jars that I made. Because I'm crazy. Okay. I've always been into production. Let's see, this one is a 5-gram jar. And then over here, let's see if I can pull one out. I'm going to put you down for a second. Let's see, I'll put you up here. So let me see, what does it say? Does it say? It's probably backwards. It's got RSO infused coconut oil. Okay, that coconut oil is organic, raw, unrefined coconut oil. However, in my infusion process, my first process, I did use fractionated coconut oil. That's very important. I emulsified Rick Simpson oil with fractionated coconut oil, and I used lecithin, sunflower lecithin, to emulsify it, which it'll make 2 different oils become one, bind to each other, and it'll also make it water soluble, meaning it can go into your skin, right into those veins. And my veins, the reason I show them popped up, they're not normally popped up. They're popped up after I put my medicine on, okay? The stuff that I made, that I just showed you, that oil. I put that on my veins, and a little while later, they're popped up, just like right now. And I used face and body cream this morning. But what I did was the same oil that I just showed you. That represents a hell of a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, okay? And that is what I make my medicine out of. I have a cream, a hand and body cream, which I put on earlier. And I've shown it to you guys before, but it bears repeating. Let me see if I can take off the lid. One-handed. Okay, so this is it doesn't say on it in big words, face and body, but if you look at the little words, it does. And the important thing about that is you don't want to put a body cream on your face if it's not meant for your face, because it will clog up your pores and stuff. So anyway, my hands are too greasy. Hold on. I just want to show you inside the jar, okay? This was white. When I bought it, it was white. Can you tell how green it is? This big jar, 13.5 ounces, okay, of cream. I mixed 2 1-ounce packages of my liquid gold, which is that stuff up there in that jar. I mixed 2 ounces of that liquid with my cream. And notice that it's blended. It blended together. Well, the reason it blended together was because I had already put it through that process where I emulsified it. I emulsified Rick Simpson oil, which is a thick, dark oil. And I mixed it with fractionated coconut oil, which is already had, and that part is refined. That's what I started to say. It is refined because they took out one of the fat chains. It has to do with I don't know a lot about that, but the fat change, I think there's two mediums and one high, and it took the high out. And so like regular coconut oil melts at 75 degrees and turns into oil. And under 75 degrees is solid, like 74 degrees. So what's the point? Fractionated coconut oil doesn't ever go solid because they've taken that one fat chain out. So that one particular thing has been refined, okay? But it wouldn't work if it wasn't. It makes all the difference in the world. Rick Simpson oil is a thick oil. And from what I read anyway, the particles are a little bit too big to go through the liver, especially when you don't have a gallbladder. You don't have the normal acids going on in your system. And I know that from experience because I was putting it in a capsule and I was taking them and I wasn't digesting them because one day I got sick and I threw up. All these capsules were still sitting in my stomach, okay? So I didn't get the medicine. So this is a way that it gets into your system and you do get the medicine, okay? Now, I just put that cream on a little while ago. So when I be showing my veins, sometimes I show them, and this one guy said, well, mine are always like that. Yours are always like that. Well, yeah, that's because I'm putting this medicine on. Because before I put it on, you don't really even see my veins. And if you do see my veins, they're not prominent. Meaning, you might see the color, but when you really check it out, my veins, after they've had this stuff on, they're up to the surface. I can see all the way around their circumference. And what I'm trying to tell you people out there is, that is proof. It is proof that it's in my veins, okay? It is proof also my veins have been dilated. Now they're big and my blood is flowing through my body. My medicine is flowing through my veins, people. Like after this thing I just heard Dr. Lee, he made it sound like 60,000 miles. I don't believe that. But something astronomical blood vessels going through our body, okay? Oh, he mentioned the blindness that you can get from having too many blood vessels in the back of your eyes. So that's another reason to, let's have a glass of wine. Let's have 6 cups of tea. Oh, back to the tea. It wasn't just green tea that is good, but he mentioned the green tea today because of the blood vessels, okay? Trying to destroy the blood vessels that these cancers are attaching to. The shoddy work will be gone if you take the right things into your system. And it doesn't have to be chemical drugs. It can be foods, natural foods. So you guys, this has been a long one. I hope that you made it through, and I hope you found it interesting. And yes, I was preaching and teaching, trying to help. So that was one of my cans, okay? Nice royal blue, beautiful. And I could open it to show what's inside, I guess. Let's see if I can do that. And see, there's the blue, royal blue, and then I've got a black one too. It's the same size. They're just different. This one is fatter. The blue one is, the diameter is a lot bigger. And this one is, it's got the same in it, okay? It's just got a different configuration. So I'm going to show you the inside. It's a salve, okay? This is the one made with coconut oil. You keep it solid. You can use it a lot longer if you keep it solid. And then you just take a little dab. You take it it melts to the touch because you're at 98.6 degrees, okay? So you leave your finger there just for a little bit and it's gonna melt. And then you take a dab, and I put it right here on my veins. And then right here, because there's a whole bunch of veins in here. So like a little while ago, I used my my body lotion, which is the same thing, just used it in cream instead of an ointment. Now, I've been trying to get off here forever, and I keep talking, and the reason I got to go now, so I got to go. Someone's calling. So, I love you people. I'll talk to you later, okay?